Welcome to Screen Time to Dream Time, a podcast where we discuss about how to make tech life balance a reality, how we can limit our screen time. I'm your host and host, Bhavika Maheshwari. So, in our previous episode, we discussed about burnout to balance, what burnout really is, and if a person is burned out due to way too much screen time, way too much screen exposure, so how that person can find balance in their respective lives. But today we are talking about something that's really important. Now, I really wanted to clarify this thing that usually in all the episodes of this podcast, I usually say today's episode is really very important. So, the reason I say this because I feel like this podcast, like Screen Time to Dream Time, when we in mobile addiction, I feel like each and every topic is somewhere around have its own importance, and it's kind of like somewhere around very important. So as today we are talking about digital detox, I feel like somewhere around this is something which is really important and which we need in our life. So yeah, it's really important. Okay, so if anyone had the query, so I just wanted to like resolve it. So, see, today we are talking about taking break from our screens. See, you know that constant buzz in your pockets, the endless stream of notification, and the feeling like I'm always on. Imagine you are at a party and someone's constantly whispering in your ear, "Hey, check this out. Hey, respond to this. Hey, don't forget about me. Hey, come here. Hey, what are you eating?" So, you would like to take break from that person, right? So that's what advice can make us feel sometime. So yeah, and at that point of time, we also want to take break from our devices. So why do we need digital detox? Like as I just said to you, that sometimes our device can make us feel that, oh my goodness, now I'm way too much tired. Now I want to take break from my device. That our brain have something called default mode network, DMN. It's like the background app that's always running even when we are not actively engaged. And what does it do? See, it's constantly checking for threats, rewards, or social updates. Think of it like having a hyper vigilant security guard who never takes a break. That's exhausting, right? And when we are constantly connected, our DMN gets overactive, making us feel anxious, stressed, or depressed. For example, have you ever find yourself scrolling through social media, comparing your life to someone else's real highlight? You know what? It's like something comparing your behind the scene footage to someone else's blockbuster movie trailer. And it's not fair. And it's not healthy also for your both physical and mental health. So please don't do it. So yeah, now, let's see what's really happening in our brain when we are constantly connected. Dopamine. I guess you definitely may have heard dopamine or about dopamine many times, whether on social media also. So, definitely, I'm gonna try to make a dedicated episode for dopamine. But today, we are gonna take a sneak peek of dopamine, what dopamine is. So, dopamine is the reward neurotransmitter. It is released every time when we get like, comment, or notification. So, it's kind of like a tiny hit of pleasure. But here's the catch, our brain adapt quickly. We need more and more dopamine to feel the same rush. So that's called tolerance, and when we can't get that fix, we feel anxious, irritable, and restless, and that's withdrawal. So it's like being on hamster wheel. We are running faster and faster, but getting nowhere. And it's also like treadmill, like those treadmills are in gym, and you are running and running, running and running, but getting nowhere. So we are basically training our brains to carve digital validation. No wonder we are all addicted. Who doesn't love a good dopamine hit, So what's the cost of constant connectivity? See, let's break it down. Firstly, sleep. Our screen emit blue light, which tricks our brain circadian rhythm into thinking it's daytime. When so we are watching mobile phone at night, so we all know that from screen the blue light comes, and sometimes, not sometimes, but always, it when so we are watching phone at night, it tricks our brain circadian rhythm into thinking that it's daytime, so I can watch. Firstly is sleep, secondly it is productivity. Distractions abound, making it harder to focus. Our working memory gets overwhelmed. Sometimes, after watching way too much phone, it's very hard to get back to productivity, to get back to work, to get back to study for an hour. You can try it, that if you have watched way too much phone, and then when you're back to studies, you're like, no, I just wanted to watch just one more reel, I just wanted to play that just one more game, I just wanted to complete that just one level. So this is how mobile affects our productivity. Thirdly, relationships. So we are substituting screen time for face to face connections, which affects our oxytocin level. Third is mental health. We all know anxiety, depression, and stress are all linked to excessive screen time. So think of it like this: our devices are like vampires sucking our time and energy. Now we need to take back control. Now let's talk about what's the benefit of digital detox. Imagine having more time to pursue your passion. It improves your focus and productivity. Thirdly, deeper connection with loved ones. Fourth, better sleep quality. Fifth, reduce stress and anxiety. It's like hitting the reset button on your life. Now, are you ready to try digital detox? So, here are a few tips. Firstly, definitely set boundaries, designate device free zones and times. Okay, these two things are really important. Firstly, at your home, or maybe at your office, at the place where you work, or at your home also, what you can do is that you can designate device free zone, that, oh, at this place I will never use phone until and unless if it's an emergency, or if it's really very very important. So try to designate device free zones, or maybe it can be your dinner table, it can be your balcony, it can be your living area, it can be your room. Secondly, times. You can designate, like, from this to this much of time I don't have to watch my screen. Secondly, you can schedule digital free days or weekends, and this is what digital detox is like. You can, like, when you are going, um, you can plan a weekend where you are not watching screens. So yeah, it would be a really nice thing to once do. So thirdly, replace screens with books, exercise, or hobbies. This is something which is really really nice. You can replace your books, sorry, you can replace your screens by books, rather than reading on lots of people read on mobile phones, but try to read that hard copy, because the feel that you have of hard copy when you read the book, you can't have that same feeling when you are reading it on your phone, or whether on your laptop, or on your iPad. Because when so you are reading on laptop, iPad, or mobile, you get a notification and you're like, oh, just one. I just got notification. I just got a chat from my friend. You're like, oh, I have to reply. So from this, you definitely get distracted. So try to do that. Fourthly, use apps to block your distractions. There are lots of apps you can go and search it on, maybe on Google. You'll get lots of apps which will block your distraction in the sense that those apps will block apps. So yeah, something like that. Fifth is plan digital free vacation. I guess this is something which is really, really important, because nowadays what we are doing, we are planning vacations to show people that, hey, I'm going over there, I'm going over there. Earlier, when so our parents, our grandparents used to take vacations, they used to take vacations for themselves, for they can spend time with their family. But nowadays, what's really happening is that we are taking vacation to show people, to make them feel, you know what, I'm having more fun. So this is what we need to try. It's not, I'm not saying that when so you're on vacation, don't click pictures. Definitely, those are your memories, but try to not click it from your phone, rather from those cameras. So yeah, and secondly, don't let your mobile phone eat first. Let me explain this line to you. I guess this is a really deep line, because what we really do, that when so the food is front of us, firstly we'll take a snap of that food, we'll take a story, we'll upload it, and then we will eat it. So I think this is something which we are doing, which is really very ridiculous, because I guess you should never let your phone eat first, or phone it before than you should try to eat yourself first. And you know so definitely, if there is something really nice dish, or there is something which is very unique, at that point of time, definitely click pictures. But there are few people who click pictures of their, like, okay, I'm eating this, so let me send to my snap friends and all of that. So I think this is something which we can try to do. Now try no phone zone at dinner table or during family time, unless you're expecting a call from your therapist. Now, I know what you are thinking, but what about work? What about emergencies? Here's the thing, we can set boundaries without losing our productivity or connectivity. Think of it like this, you're not abandoning your phone, you are just setting limits. Like having healthy relationship with food, you enjoy it, but you don't overindulge it. I think this is something which is really very important to understand, that this podcast, or in this episode, I'm really not trying to say you that you have to abandon your phone. You just have to set limits. The way you have a very healthy relationship, the way we all have very healthy relationship with with our food, that we enjoy eating our food, but we just don't have to overindulge it. Likewise, only when we talk about mobile phone, it's not that from now onwards I will never touch my mobile phone, because mobile phone are something which certainly have made our life way too much easier. We can do lots of things, and mobile, it's something kind of like it's a miracle, and it's a really very nice thing. But we need to set limits, because अति कभी भी अच्छा नहीं होता. More is never good. So we should definitely try to enjoy our mobile phones, but we don't have to abandon it, we just have to set limits. See, digital detox isn't about cutting out technology entirely, it's just about finding balance. So take control of your screen time and make space for your dream time. Remember, every small steps count. Start with 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 weekend. Your mind, body, and relationship will thank you later. Subscribe to Screen Time to Dream Time on Spotify and also on YouTube. Share this episode with a friend or family member who really needs to hear this. Thank you so very much for tuning in. See you in the next episode.